I am Liliandro from Brazil, and this little presentation is about my research project in my paper published in the United States, and I'm so grateful for this little talking. And the first, I have to present the introduction, the pillar of a new financial paradigm. Uh, in accordance of a new theoretical model for surviving credibility in the 21st century, the present paper, the risk and moods global rate and institutional image in emergency countries and soil carbon credits in NTN-G and carbon tokenization in Brazil, positioning as a living experience at the confluence of five seminal intellectual framing. We will examine how it synthesizes Max Weber in institutional, Paul Krugman, monetary constants, and Michael Wickens in dynamic equilibriums modeling, Myrick Freeman in environment valuation, and a fifth crucial pillar, a technocratic model of utility derived from blockchain and tokenization theory. This final pillar grounded its works like Catalini and Gans, economics of blockchains, transform the bond from a passive asset into an active, programmable system of verifiable value. In the School of German Values and Sociological Essays, Max Weber assumes that legitimacy of a theory of system and catalyst in economy and society provides the ontological basis for surviving debt. His system theory posited the modern approach about the organization of bureaucracy with rationalization of progress and domination based in rationality legal, traditional, and charismatic. Through it, the New Age is a technocracy as a political and administrative system where power is exercised by experts or technocrats. And the synthesizing that data technological efficiency rather than elected politicians or ideologies. The catalyst theory uh, posits that modern money is creature of state authority, a token of legitimacy written than intrinsic value. A government bond, therefore, is promissory note backed not by collateral, but by the perceived permanence and the credibility of the state. So the present work employs this framework to articulate the core problem. Answer migration is a proxy for institutional legitimacy. When Moody's downgrades Brazil, its signal erosion of a new perceived authority. The NTN-G consequently is analyzed as a strategic instrument of legitimacy and reconstruction by tethering the state's promises to the globally resonant goals of sustainability and technological innovation. Brazil seeks to perform a new credible institutional identity on the world stage. The bond's value is truth, dual, financial, and semiotic. The monetary boundaries and velocity of monetary expansion of Paul Krugman. This imposes necessary boundaries through the work of Paul Krugman. This identity serves as a critical disciplinary equation, the ambitious instruments of NTN-G. represent expansion of identity equation P that multiply key that equal N and V of aiming of monetary supply, and Krugman's framework forces the central question: will this expansion be absorbed by a corresponding increase in real sustainable output and key, or will it manifest in the monetary expansion in ISLM models to run sovereign transaction, illustrating that adoption currently gains in the green productivity and well-intentional instrument called triggering the very macroeconomic stability. It aims to resolve the tension between reputational ambition and monetary reality defines the policy's risk profile. The model of Michael Wickens and intemporal optimization in DSGA in the green economy to model how rational agents navigating and this risk future. The project of research integrates the dynamic stochastic general equilibrium (DSG) framework was formalized by Michael Wickens, and this transforms the static economy into a dynamic digital laboratory. Households, investors, and the government are modeling as optimizing agents, making choice over time, certainly with the NTN-G introduced as a novel asset class. Its IoT isn't fixed, it's a function of future carbon prices and Brazil adherence to its own climate change pledges. The DSG model following Wickens generates intertemporal trade-off. This is a part of explanation about the application of GARCA models in 1.1 version, and this does to have a sampling of carbon credit performance sampling of table in period of this year and percentual of variation of carbon credits. According to this sample, we have the analysis of volatility of GARCA, NTN-G as the indexes in credit to carbon. This is a deviation and variation of this credit to carbon, return monthly, and other parameters of model GARCA to improve forecasts on next 6 months. These models represent great confidence in measure volatility persistence, long-term volatility, and other correlation metrics with blue tests and others to measure the form of coupon in accordance with endogenous variations. And these have a great success. The standardization is transform models and random effect models in causality and others tests cables to measure performance like the Spanier operation of coupon determinants and other premises in emergence counting with elasticity of coupon carbon relation of causality tests convergence of different country, analysis of performance and viability for application this product in national and international environment. This is a tested fuller of robust in integration of rating, ESG, inflation, and discount premium, and other premises like the present value of cash flow of present value of tokenized credits of NTN-G in projection. The value of emission approximately 3,070 billions of dollars over or more over the 10 years with 1 million tons of carbon oxygen or CO2 abated per year, and the simulation have a discount rate and others equations like social value of carbon and others premises like forests, marginal costs of forest in Brazil, sprayed surviving spraying and risky country efficiency and others values for the value present of practices. The integrations, deficiency, and new models like maximization of utility. In accord of Freeman, non-use values reflected the utility obtained by individuals simply by knowing that a resource existing will be preserved and if they never use it. Through the expected utility function of NTN-G can be expressed as the utility function of consumption, environment, sustainable value or credits of environmental credits of carbon, and no use values represented for an variable. The existence legacy of biodiversity like forest and other mechanism to extract carbon credits. This is represent to maximize the utility in according to variation and applied the question of production of silum as Lagrange multiply like a restriction function, and this is represented by this conditional of first order conditional, transverse history conditional, Euler equation. The multiplier is the bet of discount. One more rate tax, the product rate, or the multiplier in the second temporal period. The optimal conditional DOI1 and 2 represent this equation of essence. This is a Taylor expansion, and this is a phase diagram with intertemporal dynamics of consumption investment. This is a consumption investment and environment investment of NTN-G. The economic interpretation as the marginal productive and environment products and marginal product of environment investments, how much each additional in its investment in green bonds increase the environment credits, or the relation in between the environmental related and consumption of between environment value generator level of consumption. This is have a order by the coefficient alpha as product and relation between consumption preference versus direct environmental utility. And the other demonstration as the graph 2, intertemporal trajectory consumption versus environment investments, a factor of carbon price on intertemporal trade-off between consumption and environment investment that is constantly as the optimal conditional curve of Freeman proves in this relation that consumption and the coefficient of environment investment is increasing in the long term. And this is optimal response to the carbon price shock. And according to this endogenous variables, a bit in related price of the carbon price. This is shocks that the economic agent is positive and affects and decrease the consumption and the equilibrium in between these appointments. And this is environmental and production dynamics after the shocks. Between capital, environmental capital related the production of carbon credits in according of non-uses goals like foresting and other environment actives. This is a result. It increases voluntary and sustainable intertemporal relocation. So, yeah, for the first present and the algebraic demonstration, the micro-Wickens intertemporal tokenization in SEG free economy is yields isn't fixed, it's introduced as a novel, it's a function of future carbon and prices and Brazil's adherence to its own climate pledges. The DSG model following the Wickens generates intertemporal trade-off curves and impulse response and functions. It has very critical caches. Does the NTN-G improve alpha by action as a hedge against the climate shocks? How do expectations about the future and policy reversals affect its present valuation? And Wickens methodology provides the rigorous forward-looking and calculus that connects today's policy decision to a distribution of a possible economics tomorrow. And Myrick Freeman produce with accuracy the quantifying the green and environmental utility. And consider the dynamic model, it must assign value to the environment core of the asset. Here, this research proposal turns to the environmental economics of Myrick Freeman et al. In the measure of environmental and resource values. Freeman have a great contribution use the toolkit to translate ecological benefit into economic shadow price The research applies concepts like the social cost of carbon, marginal abatement cost, to perform a cost-benefit analysis on the NTN-G. Underlying project, this analysis direct to demystify the greening and the IoT discount defines the used value of the value of carbon offset and the non-used or existent value. And the utility derived from more knowledge of environment preservation, and the NTN-G structure aims to maximize and make verifiable these values, thereby justifying and potentially enlarging the greening. Uh, this is the technocratic utility model and blockchain, tokenization, and the DTMV. This brings us to present work original technocratic contribution, the proposed utility model of the tokenization. This is where the theories of value and dynamics are openly decided into assisting the research move beyond city blockchain as a buzzword. It engages with the institutional economics of the technology, and it draws directly upon Catalini Gans of 2020 and some simple economies of the blockchain with theories how distributed ledgers reduce verification and networking cost, thereby enabling new forms of trust, minimizing constructing. And the heuristic applies is to posit that tokenization isn't merely digitalization. It is the creation of a programmable utility system, and by representing a carbon credit as token on a blockchain, via platforms like eCarbon, and the NTN-G is environmental backend becomes one first. Instantly verifiable, drastically reducing the informational asymmetry and the greenwashing risk that Freeman's valuation depends on. The second, automatically governable. Smart contracts can afford rules like automatically retiring a token once the carbon offset is claimed preserving environmental integrity. And 3, liquidity enhancing. Fractional ownership and markets increase the velocity of this environment asset, a factor of the Krugman equation. Furthermore, the research aligns the models formed to regulatory and technical framework like the Bank of Environment settlements, and digital token market venues, and DTMV model. The DTMV model proposes a layered architecture for integration tokenization assets, and the into existing financial infrastructure. The project of research mapped the NTN-G proposed life cycle onto this architecture from the token layer, the carbon credit on a blockchain, using potential CBDC or DRES or security system. This is technocratic utility model is the keystone, is the mechanism that makes the Weberian legitimacy and Freeman valuable traditional, and the Wickens intertemporal promise enforceable. And the synthesis of these premises is the Brazil as laboratory for a 21 century survived. In synthesis, this approach constructs the current pillar of model and provide a stage of legitimacy. Krugman sets hand budgetary construct. Wickens model the intertemporal journal, and Freeman supply the valuation metric and the destination. And the technocratic activity model of tokenization formed the Catalini Gans and the Bank International of Settlements with and the DTNV models build the engine and the rails for the journey. The NTN-G emerges as a tangible output of this model. It is a policy experiment that asks, can a state reprogram its institutional operation system, and can it leverage blockchain not for cryptocurrency speculation but for surviving credibility and genuine? And it is a policy experiment that asks, can a state reprogram its institutional operating system? Can it leverage blockchain not for cryptocurrency speculation, but for surviving credibility and genuine? And the evaluate proxies provide the analytical framework to access this experiment. It argues that for emergent economies, the future of survival risk management lies in the massive integration of institutional sociology, monetary discipline, dynamic forecasting, environmental economics, and cryptographic utility. Blueprint for is research of a formidable and pioneering first draft. Thank you. I'm sorry for the last transmission errors, and I hope that I see you again at the other time for other interview on my letter of acceptance.